The first time I noticed that I had a gift was when I took a healing hands class at the Wild Rose College of Arts. And in the class, they taught us to put our hands on different people. They would lay down and you put your hands on different areas of their body. And then you had to share with everyone what you felt or what you saw or any kind of sensations that happened for you. And the first time I did it, I was a little bit terrified because I saw these images um, and they weren't really friendly. They like for me, I had no idea what was happening, and so it was like a little bit like seeing the boogeyman, and so I wasn't sure exactly what to make of that, and so I actually kind of pulled back, and when the sharing happened, I kind of copied a little from the other students and said, oh, I felt this or saw this or that, and which was a lot of a lie, let's say, not a little bit. And the instructor came to me after and said, it's really important for you to share what you see. And I said to her, well, I wasn't sure what I saw. And she said, well, you can just share what you see, and it's up to the person who you are putting your hands on for them to interpret the information that you get. And so I think I thought when I put my hands on someone and I got information that I had to tell them what it meant. And when I found out you didn't have to do that, that was actually the information for that person, that made a huge difference for me. And it happened every single time I put my hands. It didn't matter who it was, and it didn't matter where I put them. I got all these images and pictures, and it was a little bit scary at first because I didn't understand it, but when I knew that I could share that in a way that would be okay for the person, then I was much more open to that, and I started to share what I saw. And at the end of the 6-week class, it was phenomenal. Like, I would come home and I want to touch everybody and see what was happening with them. And I didn't really know what I was going to do with it, but I just loved the class. And at the end of the class, the lady who taught the course gave me a card, and the card just happened to be a shaman, a native medicine woman. And what was interesting about that was this, I had taken my daughter to see her about 6 months before, and she said to me when I was leaving, I will wait for your call. And at that time, I had no experience with any of this, and so I was like, okay, like, sure. And I didn't understand, and it's funny now. I look back and I think, oh, it was just I felt so silly and so out of my element, and yet so comfortable in not really understanding what was happening. And so, sure enough, I called this lady, and she said to me, I will teach you about your gift. And so the beauty of that was that over the next 9 months or so, I went out to her place once a week and spent 3 and 4 hours with her, and she taught me about my gifts. And she explained to me how I saw things and what I saw, because what would happen was when her and I joined, she could see what I saw, which I'm not going to lie, the first time that happened, I was like, say what now? I felt like she was inside my mind and she could read my thoughts and all of that. And it was scary because there's things about us that we don't want other people to know, and we strive really hard to keep those a secret. We only want people to see the best of us. And I had to understand that the things that I thought were, let's say demons in me or the darker side of me were actually just a part of me, and that it was nothing to be afraid of. And I think that was the biggest thing for me is that you have to own those parts of you. And it doesn't mean that that's what you are. you choose to be that or not, but there's still a part of you. So when you have all these great things about you that, like I'm a really kind person, I really am. Truly and genuinely, I am kind. But my kindness is way over here. But I also know that if push came to shove, sometimes I can be a little mean. And I had to own that. Oh no, I don't know. I'm just as nice as, when people would say, oh, I can't imagine you mad. Well, that's my family. My kids will tell you that I look like the exorcist a little bit when I'm mad. And so this whole process for me and working with Rosemary allowed me to kind of take a whole look at myself rather than just, the good side that you want to show everyone. And it was okay. It's okay to have these things. It's okay to be mad sometimes. It's life. It's okay to flip someone the bird in the moment and whatever. And that's human nature. It's life. We're not here to be perfect. And I think that was a really big lesson for me to learn that what, you just try to do the best you can. And that's been the difference maker for me, to learn about my gifts and to be open to the expansiveness of them. I, over the years, I used to doubt myself, I guess, was the thing. I would see things and I'm thinking, I don't know what that means. And still sometimes I do that. I don't know what that means. Oh no, but the person that I'm getting the information from, they do. So I will say to them, okay, well, this is what I see, and this is how it's coming. And they'll, oh, yes. And they know exactly what it is. And that's what's so interesting about it all as it unfolds, and how it's unfolded over the years as I've taken courses and classes. And truly, all of that did for me was actually help me learn more about myself. And that's what I think it all comes down to, is learning about yourself and what works for you, and owning your stuff, owning, that you get mad, or that you get, overjoyed at stuff, or when you laugh you pee a little, like any of those things that are part of you. It's all okay. It's okay to just be who you are. And I think that's the biggest thing. And I think now for me, Healing Heart has come to that place where I've evolved, I've taken all of these courses, and then with my own gifts kind of integrated it all into something that feels good for me and that I know is helpful for other people. And it feels true for me. I'm always really centered when I am giving a session, and that brings the best out in others, and it allows them to feel comfortable and to feel safe to heal their own things that they're not, so proud about. And I think that makes it worth it for me. That makes it worth it, and to feel good that I know that I've made a difference in someone's life only because I've been able to hold the space for them. And yeah, and so that's kind of I have a whole bunch of crazy stories, and so when you come to see me, you'll hear I like to tell my stories and share them a little bit, because they're everyday life stories. For me, it's what your life is all about, is your story, and how you get from A to B and from B to C. So